I'm so excited, I have to say, because barely I can't even believe I'm sitting here instead of floating around the room.
Okay, so I guess we can get started. So I'm Christine from Etchr, and we are here to discuss your amazing story about how you guys reconnected on the Etchr Studio Fam Facebook group. Very exciting because, as you said, it has been over 60 years.
60, not 16, 60.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, you said that you guys grew up on the same block in Toledo, Ohio. Can you tell me a little bit about what you like to do when you were kids?
Well, we used to play lots of games, kick the can, and one of my favorites was a game called Sloppy Joe's. And we made up that game, and there were lots of kids in the neighborhood. And how the game was played was the girls would chase the boys, and if they caught them, then the boy had to go between the houses with the girl and kiss her.
Ooh.
Pretty racy, huh?
Ooh.
So my favorite story, the neighborhood boy who I thought was the cutest was David Werner. I don't know about you, Vandy, but I thought
I can't remember his looks, but I remember he was cute.
He was cute. And I caught him. And I don't know, we must have been 8 or 10, I don't know. And so we went between the houses and he said, "Fake it or I'll pound you."
Oh no. Oh no.
I didn't even know what he meant by that, but I knew I wasn't going to get kissed.
Oh.
Got the idea. Yeah, those neighborhood games were classic 1950s. Like we had marbles. We played marbles in the alley behind the house. We had roller skate, old style with the key. Of course, bicycles. And I remember the first time I rode my two-wheeler, I was so proud. I made it 3 doors down. And Samantha and her sister were there going, "Yay, Vandy, she's doing it." It was like one of those moments that stays with you forever. And we actually have quite a few of them. I'm feeling sure as we continue to get connected that we'll be sharing a lot and talking deeply, because I can tell Samantha's blossomed into a very beautiful, intelligent woman, and I look forward to getting to know her. I'm gonna cry now.
I know. And those were the days when kids could play outside by themselves late at night. I mean, 8 or 9 o'clock, but that was late for us after dark. And nobody thought anything of it. And we all felt very safe. It never occurred to us not to, right?
Right. My mom would say, "Go play in the street."
Yeah.
We did.
I really wish I could relate to that, but unfortunately I cannot.
Oh, believe it or not, Samantha, see if you can verify this. Of course, our cars that were parked there were 40s and 50s, not exactly Model A's, but we had a milkman that still delivered milk with a hand-drawn milk cart.
We did. His name was Kenny. Do you remember that?
I don't remember his name.
Yeah. And we also, this makes us sound like we lived on Little House on the Prairie, but we also—
Little House in the City, really.
We also had an ice man. There was a man who came and delivered ice to people who still had ice boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
I actually have an ice delivery here.
Oh, really?
It still exists here in the Philippines.
Oh,
that's really cool. Oh, I'd love to hear more about your neighborhood.
I would like to say hello to your cat. May I know the name?
His name is Bailey.
Very cute.
He always makes an appearance on my Zoom calls.
Yeah. Obviously wants to be with you all of the time.
He does. And has been.
So were you guys already interested in art during your childhood?
Yes.
But I didn't know that about Vandy.
Oh,
Well, so we live so close together, and our neighborhood, we walked to our elementary school. And but since Samantha was 2 years ahead of me, once we got into school, our paths didn't cross. It was when we were at home playing in the neighborhood. We were part of the kids on the block. But what we also had in our neighborhood that we were so fortunate to have was the Toledo Museum of Art. And our elementary school partnered with the Toledo Museum of Art to send the students there. And we both remember, going there and being encouraged in many ways from that exposure to art. And then eventually I went on to Ohio State University, and I got in the 1970s, and I got a bachelor degree in drawing and painting. And I did art on my own, and I did sell my little paintings. But not too long after I got married, I had a baby, and I went into sales for 25 years. And then about 15 years ago, I retired from that, and I moved myself to Florida because I wanted to return to a creative lifestyle. And I thought, well, I don't know how I can all of a sudden make a go at drawing and painting, but I know what a good image looks like. So I think I can be a photographer, and by golly, I did. So I do give my drawing, painting skills and education credit for that too. And then of course the final phase was somehow we both got connected to Etchr. And for me, that was a few years ago. I bought the little Etchr mirror because I wanted to have some fun with that style of tracing off of my phone. And then Etchr picked up. They had some marketing really came through, and I saw Etchr classes. Once I started getting into art classes, Etchr came on my Facebook, and then that's when oh my gosh, this is such a great way to do these classes, the way they have them structured, and the way the community gets to share work and comment on each other. And then the real cherry on the top was I found my childhood friend. No way, how does that happen? Like you said, that's a one in a million.
Right. So I just found Etchr a few months ago, maybe January or February. But I've been doing, and it's so wonderful. And I've been doing a lot of the workshops and classes
Yeah,
and
it
so
was
forth.
amazing.
I'll do a workshop, and then I'll post my work. And it's not finished, and we're never pleased with what we've done. But I posted this,
beautiful.
and
Wow, yeah.
well, it dries better than it looks when you first do it.
Oh,
And
your
so
stuff
I
is great.
made a comment about it, and how, I don't know, something apologizing for it. And then I see a comment from Vandy Major, and it was so kind. And she said, it's beautiful, and you should maybe try this, but it's whatever. And it was such a nice comment. And I said, thank you. But did you grow up in Toledo? And she wrote back and said, Kevin Place. And then we just freaked out, because it has been more than 60 years since we've been in touch.
It is an amazing story. This is why we just had to share it. We had to make it into a blog post and also share it on the podcast. So, how did you guys actually lose contact with one another?
Well, I think Vandy's family moved away before we did, right?
Yeah, that's right. My family moved out of the neighborhood, the city neighborhood, to the suburbs, which were booming then. So that was when I was 10 years old. That would have been 1961.
And we were friends, all the kids in the neighborhood, but my parents weren't friends with her parents.
Oh,
My parents were quite a bit older than the other parents on the block, and so they weren't really friends. Of course, they knew each other, so they didn't stay in touch after the Majors moved. And I never heard about her or saw her ever again. Until now.
Yes. So what have you guys been up to these past 60 years? Like just a quick summary. Like for example, career, spouse, things like that.
Samantha, why don't you go ahead? I think I have kind of already talked about that a little bit, but I will just add on that I have been widowed for 15 years, and that I have a son who lives in Seattle, and he's 43 years old now. So, like I said, I told you about my career, so I'll let Samantha tell her story.
Well, interesting because, I drew from the time I was little, and like Vandy said, I was sent to the art museum to take some classes. And I don't know, Vandy remembers this, I'm sure, but in magazines back in the 50s, they had these ads that said, "Can you draw?" And do you remember that? And they would have a face, and you drew the face and you sent it in, and they would tell you whether or not you're talented. And of course, they told me I was talented because I'm sure everyone who said that is talented, because then you got to pay for the classes. I didn't take those classes, but I always wanted to do something involved with art. So I did art growing up, but I could never figure out a way to make a living at it as an adult. And it's interesting because I went into sales also, Vandy.
How
Wow.
about that?
Yeah. So, and I was married and divorced 3 times, and did some art over the years. I never had children, but I did art off and on over the years for various mediums. I never could do watercolor very well, or didn't think I could. But I was always good at sketching and more precise mediums like water, oils or acrylics. And during the pandemic, I took an online class from a friend of mine who's a watercolor artist, and it just got me motivated again. And then I found Etchr, and that's all she wrote. I've just been painting every day since February, I think.
Wow. Actually, how did you discover Etchr? Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to interject that I'm a huge fan of Samantha's art. I think she's so talented, and she's doing really beautiful work. And not only that, she's really encouraging. She's doing a lot of commenting, which I really believe in, because I think encouragement is so important, and something that I want to see more and more of the students getting into the habit of doing, is not being afraid to put up their work. And then when you see it on there, give them a like, why not?
And I mean, so many do. I find it such a supportive community. But I don't even know how I found Etchr. I don't know. I probably Googled watercolor and it came up. If you Google anything, it'll show up in your Facebook feed. And I clicked on it, and it's just been fabulous.
I'm really glad to hear that from you guys. So what art mediums in particular do you use now?
Right now I'm just doing watercolor. I mean, sketching also, but watercolor. And I think Vandy does.
I would say when I got that Etchr mirror a couple years ago, I was really, really focused on drawing, graphite, color pencil, but I wanted to do real, like, miniature little faces of people. So I was really into that. But then the more I got going, and once I got onto Etchr, I thought, oh, I've got to try this watercolor. And so I started just get it going all over the place. Like, here's something that I like to do. I don't know, can you see this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
I'm trying to get it on there. All right. So I will just watch. I'll look for something on YouTube that I can watch. And I found these two dancers, and then I could just pause the video, and they were real easy to pause and get good poses in because they're such incredible dancers, you know? So I always go back to just drawing. Like sometimes I just draw the same person over and over again, or I add notes. So really, I guess that this is what you would call an art journal, you know. I kind of flipped through kind of fast there, didn't I? Okay, anyway, now that I've crossed the bridge to watercolor, and I got there's another little etcher that I got, and I wanted to actually make a product that I could send and gift to friends. That's why I got the Etchr postcards, the 4x6 postcards. So, and I posted this too, is that I got little sets of 4x6 packaging for them. So I can give them out like this, and they're all ready to either they can put it in a 5x7 frame or just set it on a shelf or whatever they want to do with it. So my friends are really liking that.
It's a really good idea.
What's the Etchr mirror?
The mirror?
Yeah.
You know what? I think I have it right here.
Is it an actual mirror?
It's pretty magical, Samantha.
No,
Okay.
actual.
Samantha, this is gonna blow your mind. Okay, so this little cradle holds your cell phone. Okay. And no, oh wait. Okay, so I don't have it set up, but okay, so oh yeah, here we go. Okay, this is the mirror. So this is a special mirror so that the cell phone, the image on the cell phone is projected onto your sheet of paper. So you can sketch on it.
Those.
But this actually dates back in centuries. Artists found ways to project images and mirrors on paintings. So, but that's one of the techniques. So yeah, that's the mirror.
I need one of those. I use tracing paper, and then I use pencil on the back, and then I trace it onto my watercolor paper. That would be much easier.
Oh yes. Yeah. much easier.
Well, I think you can actually get bigger one for iPad. I don't know, Samantha, if you have iPad.
Yeah, I have it all.
Yeah, then your mirror, I don't know if they had it when I got mine, but I saw it on the Etchr lab, and there's a big one, so you could have a bigger image. Like you can still, like with the software that comes with it, you can do a little one and then move it around, you know, tile it so you can draw a big image.
Yeah, I'm writing that down so I don't forget.
Actually, the mirror comes in one size, but it can accommodate the iPad.
Oh, I'm really glad to know that. Thank you. Because I can do my iPad on it.
Yeah, you can just download the app on your iPad as well.
Cool.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna do that. And I'll show you another sketchbook. I bought this as a keepsake when I was visiting my son in Seattle. You know that Pike Place Market or Pike Market, I forget, the big famous fish market. They have vendors there. And I bought this beautiful sketchbook. And the paper that he has that came with it may actually be cotton, but that's kind of the thing now. I want to get cotton paper, but so I don't really know what this paper is, but that's some of my little, that's.
I think that's an Etchr workshop. I did that one. That street.
Oh, you're right. I can't remember what one it was. And then I modified it. And then here's one. I think I saw this technique where you leave a white space. See how I put the background, but then the white space was the sail of the sailboat. So yeah, my Etchr classes are all through my work now.
Yeah, me too.
We really love to hear that. So what are your plans after the pandemic? Do you feel like you will meet up in person?
I think we will. I think I told Vandy I have another friend who lives near her in Florida. I'm in Chicago, and I'm going to go visit that friend this probably in the winter, and then Vandy and I are going to get together then.
I think that's going to be so great. I'm already looking forward to it. And then I'm already going, oh, wow, we should invite the other Etchr
Yeah.
students that live around here and have a big meetup and do something.
That would be really nice.
would
It
be
would
fun.
be very similar to the urban sketchers because they have like a group per country. So
Yes,
like they meet
exactly.
up.
I think that kind of inspired me to this idea of visualizing, oh, it could be the Etchr Sketchers. I was like, remember, I don't know if you know what that is because you're a young gal, but Samantha, did you have an Etch a Sketch?
Oh,
Yeah,
I know what that is.
You know what it is?
Yes.
and every time somebody on the workshop says Etcher sketchbook, I think Etch a sketch. Every time.
Right. But it's actually different spelling, isn't it? Because the little dial thing was Etch a Sketch,
Right.
not Etcher. But I do think that Etcher, I don't know how, maybe you can tell us how you got that name, but I think you did benefit from having a unique name for your company. It makes it easy to find, easy to Google.
Well, to my knowledge, we got the name Etcher from just etching, like sketching.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, great.
our first product was actually, I believe, the art satchel. So that is like a bag that can house all of your art materials. It was specifically designed for art materials. So, the sketcher on the go, things like that.
Oh,
Yes, I saw that and I thought, oh, that might be something. I haven't crossed that line of sketching publicly, you know.
there. No.
But I can think of some good places where I can go and photograph, like
Mhm.
sit in a cafe on the beach and take pics because I'm more of a photograph it and then draw it. However, from what I showed you, I like to just sketch from imagination as well, but I just as soon do it watching a video than going out in public.
Right. Yeah, me too. That
With
takes
photography, you can move around, but if you're going to sit somewhere and sketch, I think you do probably have to deal with people.
people
Um,
and light changing and
Very
things
true.
moving and yeah, that takes a lot of guts. I don't have that yet.
maybe we can do it together.
Yeah.
Um, I'm actually going to go back a little bit because I'm very curious to know how did the both of you get into sales? Because it um because like with Vandy, you had an art background, but you decided to go into sales. That's very interesting to me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll talk a little bit about that. So I got married when I was 25-year-old, and like I said, I was doing some little paintings and selling them a little bit, but I wasn't able to contribute to the financial stability of my family, and I wanted to do that. That was really important to me. And at the time, in the area where I lived, there was a company that was making baskets that had lids on them, and they got the wooden lids, okay, on a woven basket, and they got the idea to start selling their baskets on the home party plan. And I signed up with them to sell baskets, but I had the combined motive that I was going to paint the lids because that was really popular then. And that really worked for me financially. My combination of booking parties because I was the girl that could paint the lid. But then the basket business itself, the direct sales boomed so big that it overtook. I had to put art on the side. but I stayed with it for 25 years. And then when I was a empty nester, this was back when I left that business, then I was able to return. So it was a really good experience. I'm really happy that I was able to provide financially for my family during that important time, because it wasn't just me, but my sister. I hired my sister. She was supporting her family with it. So that's one of the really great things about sales. And maybe one reason that you see art and sales do cross over, although it's well known that artists have a hard time representing themselves, like, oh, isn't my stuff great, you should buy it. But actually I think that artists and salespeople are both high in creativity and openness and good listeners. And I think there was a lot of transfer to what helped me be successful in sales and enjoy it, at least for a while. Then it got old. Okay. And I was getting old too. And I wanted to live the life that I thought I was meant to live.
And I think so many of us back in those days, our career was something we fell into. Like today, people are very goal directed. They know what they want to do when they get out of school. They major in those certain things. I mean, a lot of them, not all of them. But back in our age, that didn't always happen. You just kind of took a job after high school. And then, I mean, I didn't even go to college right out of high school, but you took a job and then something clicked and you stayed in it. And I got married when I was 20, and my husband was transferred to Los Angeles. And so we moved out there, and I was going to go to school out there, but I had to wait until I could go as a resident. So I got a job in a printing company, and I was a receptionist. And it was, but there's creativity there. We had a graphic designer, and it was really interesting to me. But then my husband and I decided to get divorced. And so I needed a full-time job. And there were like 3 salesmen in this company and 1 sales girl. And, we still called them girls back then. Now that word is taboo. But, but it was exciting because women were not in sales at that time. It was very unusual, and especially in the printing business, which is very male oriented. So the owner of the company and I had become friends. And when I told her I needed a full-time job, she said, well, do you want to go into sales? I didn't have anything better to do, so I did. And, I never loved it, but I made some money at it. I did well. And then I moved from LA and ended up back in sales here in Chicago, this time working for a company that did pre-press work for textbook publishers. So again, I was in 2 of my loves, publishing, because I'm a writer, and the graphic arts. And so I stayed with that company for 18 years. And again, it was kind of unusual for women to be selling. So, but it was very good to me. I did well at it. And I can't say I loved it because I'm not really a sales type personality, in spite of the fact that I can't shut up today. But it's not always the most comfortable thing to meet people you don't know and try to carry on a conversation and establish a connection, and then show them your expertise and so forth. So it's not a career I would have chosen for myself, but it worked out really well.
So I see now you found a passion in writing.
Yes, those were my 2 passions growing up. I've always been a writer, and I've always been an artist. And I've done them both over the years, more writing than art. And I have one book published, and I'm working on a couple of others. So
The what more could you wish for one?
yes.
I read the blurb. I'm very intrigued and I want to buy it.
Oh, good.
And Samantha, your book is on order with me. I decided I wanted the paper version, so I'll be receiving it. But I think I read a preview, and I read something else also that I can't remember the title of it, but it was online, and you had a comment. I wanted to ask you if our meeting up has changed your belief, because didn't you say something about that you're not a believer in randomness occurring? And I thought, well, now that we somehow met up the way we did, can we still believe in a random universe? I'm having existential meltdown.
I think I said I'm not a believer in like cosmic reasons for things happening. I don't believe things happen for a reason. I believe the world is random and coincidental. And so this all fits right into my theory, but it could fit in
Good.
another one. If you believe things are meant to be, this could
Yeah,
fit that.
I am trying to decide what I believe in it. And I do think that I agree with you on the massive amount of randomness that's going on around us. But I think that we're tipping the scales, and that we did tip them because of our co-interest in art, along with our childhood crossing, that somehow, if it hadn't have been for some of those similarities, it would be pretty much, I don't know if does that make sense at all? About we can influence the randomness.
Well, you could believe that.
Okay. Chalk that one up, and we'll keep an open mind, see what happens next.
Who knows?
When you guys were talking on the 2-hour conversation, did you find any shared interests outside of art?
Well, our childhood, we don't really need more than that. And the art, and we talked a lot about our childhood and the things we used to do and the things we remember, and art is a big connection for us today. And I don't need any more than that. I look at her and I see that little blonde girl. You had the same hair back then. It was more blonde.
Yeah.
I see, I don't, the emotion of all of this is all I need.
And I think as far as what we delved into, when we had our initial and so far one telephone conversation, because we have been messaging. Okay, so that's been our communication, and that's been great. And the messaging, I would say, is more centered around Etchr and what we're doing with our art, which that's what makes our reunion so wonderful, is that there's something to do now. And I have had, not back to Kevin Place, but I've had high school and even college friends who dropped off the radar and then found each other. But after we connected, there wasn't any connection in the here and the now. So it was like, oh, good to see you, be Facebook friends. But Samantha and I have something much farther beyond that. And it's kind of nice to stay in present time with her.
Yeah. And we do often text during the day about something we're working on, or workshops or things like that.
And materials,
Right.
the art supplies, that's a huge world. So I just got to say thank you again to Etchr, because I maybe from being in sales myself, that when I think of Etchr as a company with a marketing strategy, I'm going, wow, how these people are smart, and they got really nice people, and they're bringing in these teachers, and it's, to me, it's the what you're doing and the way you're doing it is
It
stupendous.
is
Yes.
amazing. Yeah. It's just, and it's so professionally done, and it's so accessible no matter what your
Mhm.
level is. It's just, I love it.
That's really heartwarming to hear. I'm sure that my bosses would love to hear it also when they see this.
We could do a commercial.
Connecting people in more ways than one.
Right.
Right. We're doing unsolicited endorsements here.
Right.
We really, because we've been living it, and I'm going to have to say that the childhood connection has enhanced it, but it was already there. I mean, I was already working on, like, I know the names of some of the people that I've been encouraging, like Donatello does all those amazing florals, and Helen Howe's on there a lot, and um, so um,
Yeah, you
but
get
it's boosted. It's like like for Samantha and I, it's like way beyond that. It's like, you know, some of these other people, I don't feel like I can just start texting them, hey, how's your day going? It's, because they don't know me.
Do you guys have any advice for friends kind of have who kind of hesitate reaching out to someone they haven't been in contact for a while? Because I know that it's very common. So they see the name and they're like they don't really bring they hesitate to reach out to them because they're unsure of what their reaction would be.
Okay, I'll go. Um, I believe in constant encouragement. So to me, the real blessing of the community is that that's what we do for each other. And if they're just brave enough to put a little bit out there and they get 10 or 20 likes and a couple, oh, wow, that I like this about that, then I think they'll start wanting to do it more, because encouragement is very powerful.
And I've never had a problem reaching out to people. If they don't respond, that's okay. But you know what? If we hadn't gotten in touch and we missed this opportunity to connect after so long, what a shame that would be, right?
I know.
Very true. So those are actually all of my questions. Thank you so much for participating in the interview. And as a gift from us, we would like to send each of you an Etchr sketchbook of your choice.
Oh,
Oh, fabulous. Thank you so much.
So you can just email me the type of sketchbook that you want, and I will process it for you.
thank you
Okay.
so
And,
much.
and Christine, I do want to I want to actually reach out to you now, because I feel like, oh, okay, I want to know more about Christine.
Oh,
And I did actually connect with Anya and get to listen to her podcast and the interview Etchr did with her. And I feel like, oh, now I know, Anya, but I want to know Christine too. So are you casting or videoing, or is there any, how do we get to know you?
well, I am the marketing officer. Well, one of the marketing officers at Etchr. So I'm actually the person who does the engagement. So, for example, if you post on our Instagram and tag us, I'm the one who will reply to you, and then I will
Oh,
also do the content curation. But I do more work for Etchr Lab, and someone else handles Etchr Studio. So I'm not the one who's talking to you guys over there.
Oh, okay. Well, it's really nice to know that about the Instagram, because I've spent all my time with my Facebook and haven't really done that, but I'm seeing a reason to now. So I'm thinking of opening up my Instagram and using it specifically to put all my artwork on. So that's what that Instagram is about. But I'll have to figure it out as I go. So it's good to know that you'll be there.
I will respond to you.
Thank you.
I will cheer you on.
Yay! See, now I'm feeling empowered. Thank you.
Where is Etchr located?
We actually originated in Australia, but
That's what I thought.
we are all working from home. We are all remote, so there is no one specific location. But we did start in Australia. So, for example, Anya is actually from Portugal.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we're all just connected through the internet, which is really fun, actually.
Yeah.
And am I right in thinking that several of the artists are also from Portugal, even maybe Pedro, who was recently on?
We
So
actually have artists. Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting.
oh, that's,
We have artists from around the world, actually. Yeah, but we
that's
connect
so cool.
through Instagram. So everywhere from the United States to Portugal to India, the Philippines as well. We're all connected now.
That is really awesome. Yeah. Yes, I definitely want to be in on that and get a piece of that. See what people are doing out there. So I'm really looking forward to activating on Instagram. And I don't know, Samantha, are you on there at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this has been so fun. And now Vandy and I can Zoom instead of calling or texting, although I'm sure we'll do much more of the texting.
And actually, we can FaceTime as well, because we're both Mac users, right, Samantha?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
So it's so fun to see you.
Oh, me too.
Thank you, Christine.
We would like to say thank you for accepting the interview. And can we have a picture? Like, I'll just screenshot.
Sure.
This.
Just make sure we look cute.
Oh, you guys look cute the entire interview. Much cuter than me.
No.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.